Hey everyone, welcome back to Maze Esports. This is going to be a 1v1 between Liquid Huck and Zergking. Now, Zergking, I actually don't know anything about except for the fact that he is a fucking cutie. So, yeah, if anyone knows anything about Zergking, if he's like a professional player or something, I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is just off the Korean ladder match, so he's probably pretty damn good. And that's pretty much all I know about Zerking. But yeah, this is going to be a PvZ on Lost Temple. And what I've seen Huck do a lot recently, actually, I've seen what a lot of protest players have done is that against Zerg, is that they will get an early forge and actually build a couple of cannons here and try to secure the Nexus so that they can match the early expanding Zerg. And that actually works out quite well because with that cannon, they are able to defend pretty well against massive speedlings as well as roaches, because really all you need early on against speedlings are enough zealots and good building placement for that. So that's what I've seen happen a lot. So it turns out to be a pretty good early strategy for Protoss, and they typically go for level 1 weapons pretty quick as well. So yeah, that's actually what we're seeing right now. The forge is going down, and a fairly early pull for Zergking. So might we see an early harass? That's a bit unconventional for Zerg players, and that probe just just nipping on the edge of danger right there, getting stuck in that supply line, and Huck's probe just barely able to slimmer away. So he does see that those six lings are coming. Actually, 8 Zerglings are coming right now. So Huck is in a tough position. If I were Huck right now, I might consider trying to block off this ramp, at least temporarily, so that he's going to be able to defend against this, because he's going to lose a lot of probes. That cannon is not really going to be doing much either. So I don't know. Let's see how Huck is going to deal with this. Probes are coming in right now. Might he funnel these Zerglings in with his probes? That's what it looks like is happening. So he is just trying to delay this photon cannon being built right now, and doing some excellent micro. Huck being a boss right now, not wasting any time, not wasting any probes, pushing them back as much as he can, and now he's softened up these links quite a bit. So actually, he's going to be able to take these on pretty well with the remainder of his probes, and I don't think he really hurt his economy all that much. And we see that Huck is just doing an amazing job right here with these probes. Instead of just swarming his probes on those Zerglings like I see players do a lot, he's really microing them back like individual units. And we see right now that a Zealot is on the way, and he's going to have no problem mopping up the rest of these Zerglings. So now it looks like this rush really wasn't all that worth it, looking at how many resources there are compared to the food count. Huck is a little bit behind. Looking at the income, it looks like Huck is a little bit behind as well. So maybe Zergking's rush was actually paid for itself, and maybe even put him a little bit ahead, because Huck had to pull off all of his probes off the line in order to defend against it. One thing that I think Huck could have done was just build a temporary pylon and wait for that photon cannon to finish, which would have only cost him about, I don't know, 75 minerals depending on how long he kept that up, in which case he wouldn't have had to throw all of his workers off the line. He wouldn't have had to lose any probes, and he still would have gotten the same effect off of it. So I think that would have been a much better play there. But all in all, I think Huck dealt with it fairly well. I mean, it's always tough because most Zerg players don't really go for an early rush like this, so it did catch him off guard a little bit. And 2 queens actually coming out for Zergking right now. It's going to be, I guess he's just doing it for the creep spread right now, because it always is good. The faster you can spread that creep, the better, especially when the rush distance is like this, where they're just a hop, skip, and away from each other. And these Zerglings are still in this base, so Zergking is making these lings count. He is going to try to get as much info as he can before those Zerglings are finally going to call it a day and die inside of his base. So the queen getting ready right now for some early defense. I'm not sure what the point of this queen here right now really is, but hey, that's what Zergking wants to do. He is the Zergking, and who am I? So, more drones going in right now. So, Zergking is doing exactly what he needs to do. He is getting those drones. He is macroing hard. He is getting that second expansion, and the Overlord is still here. And I think if he puts it in a good enough position, he can actually avoid Stalker Fire and have a little bit of a view on this base. we'll see if that's true, but I'm pretty sure if he just keeps it there, it's going to be a good spot for him. So let's see. A couple of Zells coming in right now, so Huck being aggressive, that's always what I want to see. I'm sure he probably assumes that Zergking is going macro-style play right now, and maybe that's why Zergking did have those queens out, because he assumed that Huck was going to go out and attack, try to deny this hatchery, but let's see what's going to happen here. It looks like there is a heal on the way, so Transfusion might be going down on this Zealot push right here, and one Stalker coming in right now as well, but a handful of lengths for Zergking, so I think Huck is going to back off once he saw that spine coming in. Zergking is going to be able to comfortably take this expansion, so he has done a fantastic job so far this game. Taking a look again at the income, no doubt Zergking is just going to be soaring ahead as he does have this expansion in right now. Second extractor coming as well, so, you know, we can't really tell what he's going yet, but it's either going to be Hydras or Mutas is going to be my guess, so we'll see what's going to be happening soon. I would personally like some Mutas. I think that'd be great, considering the fact that Huck did get that forge out early, slows the production of Stalkers just that much more, so I think that Liquid Huck would have the biggest trouble dealing with some Mutas right now. He would have to place money into cannons, he'd have to place money into cannons here, but before that happens, I'm sure Mutas will be able to get some good damage done on that, and so that layer is almost up, so we'll see what Zergking is up to, and tons of spines right now, so this is typically what we see from Zerg players, just a wall of spine crawlers denying any kind of early push. So I think this trend I've been seeing here now with this forge is kind of because of these spines right here, because can you imagine four-gating against 6 spines? It would just be ridiculous. You know, by this point, it's about 9:30 into the game, but the conventional style play has been thrown off a little bit because of that rush. But by this point, there would be about 6 spines here, and the four-gate would have already attacked at least once or twice. So it's just really that hard. It's just really so hard for four-gate to do that much against huge defense like this. But Liquid Huck is pushing out a little bit. I think really he's just trying to pick off a couple of Zerglings here, and one spine crawler does tap that Stalker, telling him, hey guy, get away from here, and a couple more Stalkers going in right now, so it looks like that Huck is still on the 3-gate. He has not chosen a set path, and Zergking going for the annoying Nidus Worm. We see that Hydras are on the way, so Zergking is not letting up on this harass. He is playing a pretty perfect game right now. He kept his Zerglings in the base as long as possible. He did an unconventional harass style in the beginning, picked off some probes, went right for the micro, but Huck does have that hallucination upgrade, which he absolutely loves to do, so he is able to get vision there for a little bit, but of course hallucinations are not that strong, but he is going to be able to thwart this attack pretty well, getting the Nidus Worm down, and one more Nidus Worm actually being instructed right here in the back, so Huck is doing a pretty damn good job as well. He is defending against this and actually getting a robotics play right now, so he is going to be going for that observer so he can get some more permanent observation on there, because as we saw, it just takes a couple of Hydras to deal with those Phoenixes, one focus fire, and they're pretty much all down. And Huck is not building his assimilator here. He is keeping his probes on this side of the wall, so Huck is doing a pretty good job as well defending against this. And we see roaches are going to be on the way, so it is going to be a roach Hydra, which is going to be difficult for Huck to deal with just off of a 4-gate right now. So definitely he is getting the right units if he is going to be going a 4-gate like this, getting tons of sentries. If you're going Colossus HT, if you're going Colossus or HTs to deal with Zerg, that's fine, but if you're going sentries, you need a lot of them, because getting that Guardian Shield and getting that Force Field split is absolutely essential. I think it takes a little bit more prowess out of the 3 strategies I mentioned to deal with Zerg, Colossus, HT, or sentries. I think sentries are the most difficult, but I think they can be the most effective as well, because you can use them to block off reps, you can use them to defend against your position, and I think they're just the best. And Zergking not letting up on these Nidus Worms. We see multiple heads coming in right now. These Hydras just kind of chilling here like, hey man, I mean, I'm getting paid overtime here, what's going on? I guess I don't really matter, just chill on this ledge right now. So one Hatcher getting up for Zergking, and this high yield is probably not going to be taken out anytime soon because of this contested region right here. It is right by... Oh, and see, great use of force field right here so they can't retreat back into that Nidus Worm. That is what I am talking about. You cannot do the same thing with Colossus or HTs, but at the same time, if you are not careful with your sentries, you will be losing a lot. So taking a look at the resources lost, actually looks like Huck is winning in terms of resources lost. He did lose quite a bit of Hydras here, and now Zergking is switching to that Roach Force. He is going to try to plow into here. I would like to see some Speedling upgrade. Is that on the way? I guess not, but he is getting Tunneling Claws, and Huck actually going for the Colossus.